Oh, wow. Is it not? It looks really... The autofocusing... Let me... Alrighty. Now we're cooking with Crisco. All right, guys. Today we're going to be reading a poem out of Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul. And remember, this book is just a book of letters that teenagers have sent in, and they glued them together, and they're short stories about different topics. This poem actually is about a mother's hands, something a child knows very well, whether they pop you or they give you a hug when you're crying, or they wag a finger at you when they're scolding you, whatever the case is, right? A mother's hands are very important. So that's what this poem is about. So when you're listening to it, really try to pay attention to the description and pay attention to the actual story that the author is trying to paint. And it's a very short poem, but listen carefully. Mama, I saw you hide your hands when we were in line at the grocery store behind that very rich lady. I noticed the rich lady's hands, hers were very soft, very delicate, immaculate with care. But mother, I say, there's no disgrace to have working hands like you do. Had she lived the life that you have lived, well, she'd have the same hands as you do. But her hands, they've never worked outside chopping and hauling wood or worked all over God's big green earth. Her hands have never felt the bitter cold being outside, chopping up different types of wood, picking up ice for the animals. They've never doctored little sick children or dressed up a horse and put the blanket over to keep it warm in the winter. They've never delivered an actual calf from its mother with those hands, or went to the barn to get more hay to bring it out in the freezing weather. They've probably never patched up old torn blue jeans or had socks with holes in them that you knitted together. I bet that lady's never put her hand on a child that's sick with fever. Or her hands, they probably never were folded gently all night beside the bed of a sick child. I bet her hands have never scrubbed a kitchen floor or done dishes every single day. Her hands have probably never guided a child who's, lost their way. I bet she's never made Christmas presents shaped with a loving hand. I bet she's never picked apples or vegetables that you've put in a can. Oh, they've never even had a blister like yours or calluses to show for all they've done for others and all the kindness that you show. So, you see here, Mama, your hands are hands of love. And I bet the good Lord's going to notice when He greets you from above. Very short poem, but it says a lot, right? The love, the tenderness, the discipline that a mother's hands deliver. Great poem. All right. You guys think, ponder, and we'll jump back on Google Classroom, Google Meets, and we'll discuss.